Please, bigger round of applause for Sumit Madan. Okay. Now, I would like to invite you to think about something at the start of this conversation, just so that I can set the context for you, right? Imagine the most beautiful car, something that you've always desired. Maybe it's a bottle green Bentley or something like that, right? You've always dreamed of this car. Could even be a Lamborghini or a really expensive electric vehicle. Now, you're forced in this country to buy motor insurance. You have to insure it, right? Now, imagine you've gone through that 1 year in Delhi traffic or in Mumbai traffic, and you've managed to not scratch it or bump it, and you've not gotten into a bad accident. Do you feel disappointed at the end of the year that your money is not coming back to you, the motor insurance? Or do you feel happy that you didn't have an accident? Which of it would you think? So I know the obvious answer, right? But now I want you to think of your life in an exchange with that car. How much value would you put to that life? And how much money would you pay to transfer the risk of that loss of life to somebody else, like this gentleman right here? Right? So that's something for you to think about, and the need for insurance really, and why in the personal finance space, often it is spoken about to say that you should think of life insurance before you make your first investment. And here we're not talking about investments, we're talking about life insurance. I'm sure that you agree with that. You're selling these products, but then there's a need to create more awareness. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think there can't be a better start to the session the way you've summed it up. I think we can just end the session now, Alex, the way you just started the entire piece.
No, please don't.
No, I think you're absolutely right. The sad reality is many of the young people of the country do come to us and say, what happens if I don't die? Yeah. And, you know, it's just like the example of the car insurance that you actually gave. I mean, it's a good scenario to be in, but that should not stop from you buying a life insurance. We always keep saying that's, in fact, the first product any young individual should buy. And I think slowly, Alex, industry is coming together. There is a campaign which is called Sabse Pehle Life Insurance now. And I think that's really making a difference to the entire piece. But yes, awareness is critical. There needs to be more work to be done around that.
The way that I see it, Sumit, there are three aspects that need to be considered when you're talking about life insurance. One is the fact that it is currently a push product. It needs to be a pull product. So that needs to change. Sure. Second, the pricing of the product needs to be attractive, and somebody needs to find value in it. And the third, you need to have the policy leg, right? So the government is already doing its bit.
Yes.
Do you agree, one? And two, how do you think that these three can be resolved?
Yeah, I think that's a very relevant one. What we need to understand is that the cost of insurance is really come down. If you look at the last few years or so, gone are the days when insurance used to be a kind of an expensive product. Gone are the days when there was some ambiguity around understanding of the product, for example. Today, Alex, you go to a cafe, you end up spending certain money as a young individual. The cost of a simple term plan is actually almost around 700 to 800 rupees per month. And you get a cover of almost around 1 crore in a country like India. I think so. One of the discussions around pricing of the product, I think there's a lot of work that the companies and the regulator and the government has done around it. Two, I think, again, you asked a very pertinent one. The entire machinery and the ecosystem also needs to change. And there is work happening at every level. I think the campaign around awareness, the more focus around rural areas, the Bima Trinity program that the government is seriously working on, I think some of those are really making this more of a pull product, for example. When you talk to a typical customer, for example, he or she is looking at a product which is more comprehensive in nature. And I think, again, for the benefit of the audience also, the Bima Trinity really resolves it to a very large extent. As part of the Bima Trinity, Alex, you will have a product which is not only life, but will also cover health, for example. It will also cover property, for example. So one comprehensive solution for the Indians at large. I, Alex, personally feel that this could be a kind of a UPI movement as far as life insurance is concerned. And the industry can really change. The growth can really fasten. Depending on which data you look at, the penetration of life insurance is still around 4% or so, or less than 4%. So there is a lot of room which needs to be covered. Also, Alex, as part of the earlier sessions also, and Mr. Modi, for example, respected Prime Minister, spoke about this yesterday also, how technology is actually making things not only faster, but more importantly, easier. I think Aadhaar, for example, has been, the financial industry, I would say, has been the biggest beneficiary of Aadhaar, for example. Today, for example, in terms of life insurance also, the way some of the underwriting procedure is changing, the way I'm able to get a better sense of the customer's health, for example.
I do want to ask you about
Please.
that. Because, and you're talking about technology, obviously you're talking about use of artificial intelligence as well. And I mean, think about it, right? What does Sumit and his team and companies like Sumit's have to do when they're looking at the risk involved when they're giving out an insurance product? Because you got to price the product based on the risk.
True.
And the more data that you have, the better your analysis of the probability of something occurring.
Very correct.
And so logically, one would think that artificial intelligence and models can be created to price things better. Is that happening right now?
Yeah, absolutely right, Alex. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Artificial intelligence is leading to a reduction in the price. The recent changes the government has done around GST also is really pushing the weight as far as the sale, the momentum around term product is concerned. I think technology and artificial intelligence included, look at mortality or underwriting as a case in point. Today, for example, can I get a better sense of a customer's health? Can I predict the mortality of the customer far better? Do I have a far better understanding of the profile of the customer? The answer to all these questions is a big emphatic yes. With that, can I offer the customer the right product, based on the profile of the customer? Answer again is yes. Can I price the product better, to your question? Answer again is a big yes, because I know the kind of risk I am signing off. So if I were an actuarial today, or let's say if I am a part of the sales or the distribution team today, in a life insurance sector, my job has actually become much more easier because there is a certain predictability around it. So I think you're absolutely right. Artificial intelligence, just the straight through process around issuance of the policy. Gone are the days when the underwriting used to be a tedious process. Today, almost at Access Max Life Insurance, almost 80% of the policies are actually straight through processing. No detailed underwriting required because I already have so much of data around the customer. So yes, it's helping the cause.
So this just occurred to me, and I do want to mention it because you spoke about the mutual fund industry. And ultimately, when you're selling mutual funds, there is a direct and there is a regular, right?
Sure.
So the regular goes through sellers of mutual funds,
Sure.
and the direct, you can go straight to the company that is making the mutual
Sure.
fund. Do you think that there is potential for companies like yourself to liaise directly with the customer, where if it becomes a pull product and somebody ultimately knows that they want life insurance, they can come straight to you?
Yes, that option is available. Insurance is a long-term product, so the commitment around the customer is also much longer. We spoke about Bima Affinity earlier. Bima Sugam, for example, will end up doing exactly the same thing. You will have a marketplace. You can just go to the marketplace, choose the best product which suits your needs. All the insurance partners will have their product there. And the website was recently launched. So there's work already happening on that. And yes, you can directly go to the Bima Sugam and buy an insurance policy.
And while we're dreaming about this, would you say that that would ultimately make the insurance experience better? If a customer were to come directly to you and you could curate a product that would be best for them?
Yeah. Firstly, I think the dream is a reality now. So it's like happening now as we do this interaction also. Yes, that's fantastic as for the industry, and I think largely public at large is also concerned. So I think from that perspective, yes, it's already taking shape as far as the Indian market is concerned. The experience is actually getting better and better, Alex. Look at something like medical limits as far as the life insurance policy is concerned. Your medical limits, for example, are going up as the health benefits improve, as the mortality of Indians obviously increase. The requirement of medical is also going down. With the help of data, like we were discussing earlier, today, for example, I have far more detailed inputs as far as the customer is concerned. So I think in an overall sense, the experience is becoming better of buying a policy. Some of the intermediaries in between, whether it's an agent, whether it's a bank or any other channel, for example, we always keep on saying that in India, for example, the term bharosa works very well. And that's a campaign that at Access Max Life Insurance, we really invest in. Some of these intermediaries, for example, still are the bharose ka partners as far as the market at large is concerned. And somewhere, for example, even to the client, it's about creating an experience. And if there is a trusted partner in between, the entire understanding of the product insurance actually becomes much better. And I have to give a lot of credit to the government of India and the regulators also there. Again, borrowing a page from the Bima Affinity itself, this entire concept of Bima Vahak, for example, where, Alex, there is a focus around women empowerment. Imagine a situation that I'm in a small village and there is a lady from the same village who is selling me an insurance policy. Will my bharosa be much higher? Yes, surely. Because that lady is not going to go anywhere. I'll meet that lady every day as a customer. And the lady would be selling the right product to me, which is the bharosa, which really comes in.
I hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
But I get your point.
Yeah.
And, you know, the potential is there. Ladies and gentlemen, please, big round of applause for Sumit.
Thank you.
He's laid out the context, and I think there's a lot to be done, and his company and the industry is doing a lot of hard work. So big round of applause. Sumit,
Thank
thanks
you,
so
Alex.
much
Thank you very much.
for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.